Hey, what's up, everyone? Sean here with Blue Ridge Silverhound. In this video, we're going to take some time to take a look at some of the hottest trends in the coin hobby today and kind of make our predictions on what's going to be, something that might be a little bit hot going into 2024. I'm happy to say that we've kind of seen it all this year. The overall coin market was pretty good for the most part. I would say it performed at above average rate. There were a lot of shows. There was a lot of excitement. We have all these new companies bringing out new product like Vaultbox and RCTV X and a few others that have certainly kind of changed the landscape and how we approach the hobby. It used to be just collectors, investors, and PCGS, NGC registries, and all that. Now we kind of have this other element over here where you're kind of like taking a chance on some of these products. You never know what's going to be in it, but I am not at all surprised that that is something that's come to the forefront here when we see it displayed prominently in the sports card comic book market. So yeah, there was a lot of things heading into a direction where there's going to be a lot more diversity in the hobby place. Some of the things that took place during this year that was worth mentioning, aside from the whole vault box revolution, U.S. Mint release of 2023 Morgan and Peace dollars. That was kind of a topic of conversation and also kind of a little bit of a letdown after finding out that one of the more unique products, the reverse proof 2-coin set, was going to be redone again in 2024. So, but the news was furious. People were talking about it, and that's exactly what the market needed. That's what the hobby needed, was a little bit more dialogue about not only the U.S. Mint, but overall a lot of the trends in the marketplace today. So some of the things kind of leading up to the end of the year, we're 2 days away from Christmas as I do this video. So if you're going to be coming to this video a year later, 2 years later, the trends might be a little bit different. But a lot of some of the things that we did see, I have a feeling that a lot of it is going to pour into 2024. So what coins can you trust? Which ones should you avoid? That's going to be a good question. So here's kind of like my list of coins. One of each from kind of the cold freezing list. Another one probably from like the lukewarm medium level, kind of flat maybe. But also we're going to take a look at, a couple of the hottest coins leading into the new year that, you may want to pay extra attention to. And we're going to start off with what is cold right now in the market. And this is something that we've seen for quite a while. Even with the banking fears earlier in the year that really drove up the premiums of anything silver related to just a dumb level. These coins were a little bit unfazed by it. And it hurts my heart to announce that on the cold list, it's got to be peace dollars. Peace dollars are incredibly ice cold in the marketplace as I talk about this. You could kind of gain an idea of how the market's doing by simply examining how much the lower price coins are going to fetch. Traditionally, your more common dates, like 1922 to 25 Philadelphia examples, kind of fall under that umbrella. And then there's a few other dates with mint marks that also, fit into that mold. But we have seen, compared to maybe common date Morgan dollars, and we're going to use about uncirculated. It's kind of a roundabout grade. I know a lot of dealers, a lot of e-commerce outlets like eBay, whatnot, and a few others. Okay, they are selling these coins in AU condition, like predominantly the common dates, for around $26 to $30. Now, it doesn't seem all too bad, But that's a number that's been rather consistent all through the year. And we're also talking about that period of time when the premiums had shot up. It was like February, March, somewhere around there when, Silicon Valley Bank went belly up. So that poured a lot of fears into people's minds and hearts that ultimately made them, kind of had to choose. Let's go ahead and invest in silver, and all the premiums shot way up, all across the spectrum from 90%, 999 rounds and bars. Larger bars were, at a huge premium. Cull or common date Morgan dollars were hot. They got up to about $35 to $40, and they still hold that price value today. And some of the more uncommon, or some of the more common dates, like your 1879 Philadelphia, San Francisco, 1880s is another common date, 820, 810, 1881p. 1887, 85p, 850, 97p. Some of the later dates, 040, 010, 1899, 1921 Morgans. We're still kind of selling up there, although they're probably better close associated to what the peace dollars sell for, because they made an overabundance of them back over 100 years ago. So in comparison, about uncirculated common date peace dollars were in this $26 to $30 range. Morgans, as far as comparable or similar type of coins, are still selling for between $30 and $40 in about uncirculated grades, and they always seem to command the higher end of that spectrum for nice eye appealing type of coins. After looking at the overall market for peace dollars, even some of the more key dates are suffering a little bit too. Your 1921s, there's an overabundance of details, clean coins. There's a lot of find XF range coins that have not really blown anybody away as far as their performance. 34S, I mean, unless it's like a mints or an AU 55 or higher, those coins will still be kind of suppressed a little bit due to condition. And we have seen, kind of like a 5 to 10% drop across the board on all the coins in general for the peace dollars. Whereas Morgans have continued just a really nice, strong stance in the marketplace. And it's everybody's favorite kind of Old West coins. Peace dollars, a short set, it's just having a hard time trying to fit in, with the big boys. And going into 2024, I would probably avoid paying large premiums for anything peace dollar related. Again, it hurts my soul because this is my series. It's one of the prettiest coin designs of the early 20th century era, to go along with the Mercury dimes, Standing Liberty quarters, and things like that. All right, so that's my cold, frigid coin heading into 2024. So what coin has kind of remained flat that I am pretty optimistic on? And that's going to be pre-1933 gold of all types. I think why it's kind of like in that middle pattern is I've seen a lot of just okay prices for some of your most common dates, right? Like your 1901 quarter eagle, your 1894 half eagles, a lot of the more common dates, St. Gaudens and Liberty Head double eagles. Even $3 gold is not immune to it. There was actually on Great Collections a really pretty Pru 64 example that exceeded the market because there was only like 70 of them made, sold for $26,000 in that particular grade. But when you look at the PCGS price guide, it's like $22,000. So that's one of those aberrations there where you see like certain coins overperform, put in like your Proof, your Carson Cities, your Dahlonega Mints, your Charlottes, and various other different types of that. Your wire rim type of St. Gaudens and flat rims and things like that all of these kind of like marquee heavy hitting keys of the entire pre-1933 gold series has been doing extremely well. You know, they've been hitting the mark maybe, you know, 10 to 20% higher than what the estimated kind of price would go for. And but it's kind of offset by a lot of the more common stuff, which is down about 10-15% by themselves. So heading into 2024, I would say I am all in on some early pre-33 gold. This is even a little gold dollar right here with a mintage of only 7,500, you know? So there's a lot to love here. And these things are only going to get more popular, and it's gold. You know, it's some of the prettiest types of coins around, and it's gold, right? So yeah, I would say keep a close eye on all of it. I wouldn't wait too much longer. We have a pretty big show heading into 2024, being the Florida Fun Show, which stands for the Florida United Numismatists Show or Club. I believe it's a coin club first, and then a show is kind of like spawned off of it. But it's one of the biggest of the year, and it usually kind of jumpstarts the hobby back up again after like a 2 to 3 week withdrawal because of the holiday season. So something to look out for heading into the new year. I think we're going to see just constant, just really decent performances of a lot of the more higher end stuff, and even some of the more common dates of any of the different denominations in a much higher grade, like pieces that grade probably like 64, 65 and higher are surefire bets that they are going to be just healthy performers in the next year. So I actually have kind of like two types of coins. There's actually a coin type, and then there's also a grading type that kind of fit under what's hot as we go into 2024, and I just don't see it slowing down any. All right, this might represent kind of like an open door opportunity for a lot of you to jump in, because we are essentially in the kind of like the nitty gritty of the holiday season. There's going to be about a 2-week withdrawal period where there's going to be a slowdown in overall sales. Prices are going to be a little bit lower by about 10 to 15% across the board. So as we get into 2024, let's go ahead and talk about it. All right, the first one that's been really hot over the course of the last 3 to 4 months, toned silver eagles. Believe it or not, I've kept a close eye on this particular market over the course of the whole year, all 12 months, and I am here to tell you that these coins, whatever your thoughts are about these, of whether or not they're legit or whatever, because they're all too new, I'm telling you, these coins on the open market, whether it's on eBay, Great Collections, Heritage, wherever you're finding these things with color that looks like this, or maybe even better, this is great. This is like green and kind of like a halo of yellow around the edge. This is pretty. This is a mid-state 67 Silver Eagle, all right, which by all accounts, without the toning, is a $35 to $40 coin slabbed in. This grade is an insult to a lot of people that collect Silver Eagles, because, you know, it's either mid-state 70 or proof 70 or bust. Because, you know, it's not going to add a whole ton of value if it comes in at 69 or lower. But toning, ladies and gentlemen, on these, the prices have been in a virtual wildfire. All right, let me tell you about a few sales, and then you guys feel free to go on to greatcollections.com and look at the auction archives at these coins. These are all coins that sold within the last 30 days. So we have a 2000, sorry, I have my camera in front of the laptop, a 2000 Silver Eagle, get this, PCGS Mid-State 66, beautiful toning, kind of like a crescent style. It's amazing. $267.75. Again, that's like a $35 coin. And Mid-State 66, again, that's like a slap in the face. Here's also a 1987 Silver Eagle. This one just sold like 2 weeks ago. This one graded a 68, which is a fine and acceptable grade, but however, there are 69s that exist for around 50 bucks, untoned. This one has monster toning on both sides, and it's sold for $705.36. This one was actually on December 3rd. There was also a 1986. This one grades 67 with some nice orange, kind of like fireball toning on it. This one sold for $322.62. And this one here, one of the older ones, actually not really. This is from December 17th. Another 1987, which is the second year of the Silver Eagle. This one is a 68, and it sold for $373. So those are just a few out of probably 2 or 3 dozen, all within the last like 30 to 45 days, that has sold worlds above and beyond what traditional non-toned Silver Eagles go for. And you ask anyone out there, they're like, I only want a Silver Eagle if it's a 70 grade, because there are certain dates prior to the year 2000 that if they're a perfect 70, they're worth thousands of dollars, okay, because the quality wasn't as good as it is today, where you expect about 95% of any coin that you submit to a grading company from the last few years is going to come out a perfect 70. But Toned Silver Eagles, these things are fire. These things are off the chain. Okay, and then the other thing that I think you guys need to know about, because our good old friend Daniel Malone had just recently done a video within the last day or two. CAC graded slabs, folks. These things are a virtual wildfire right now. Other than the fact that they're like the newest kid on the block. And I think this company is well positioned to be a top 2 player in the game. I would say by the end of the year, I could see CAC grading to probably usurp NGC, and I know that's like blasphemous. And a lot of people are NGC homers, and they're fans of the grading service. As am I. I just submitted a group of coins to NGC not too long ago. And this company right here, everybody is all in, because CAC has been around as a secondary authentication service to coins that were already graded, and then they put the green sticker on them, that's kind of like where we're at right now. But yeah, these coins, now this is a sample slab. This is probably the worst example I could show you, but it's the only one I have, because I sold I had a couple Walking Liberty halves. I had a Liberty V nickel that was in this slab, and I sold it for about 30 to 35% above market compared to a PCGS graded example. And we kind of have to use the gold standard here by comparing it to PCGS. And it's an interesting kind of look at everything from a 40,000 foot level, a really good bird's eye view on everything, just to see how CACG has really blossomed. And the slabs are really nice. They have kind of a PCGS clear plastic look to them. They're very solid. They have a little lightness to them as well, which is quite nice. And they look great. I mean, they're a great looking slab. And, I like all grading company slabs. But what Daniel Malone's video had kind of revealed and identified, because he talked about someone's recent submission where it had a lot of like tone coins and things like that in there, and they were all graded details, problem coins. Whereas if they were sent to PCGS, where a lot of those coins did crack out from, they were straight graded, and it's crazy to see what the grading kind of standardization of everything is kind of doing right now. CAC wants the general public to know that we want to be kind of like that grading company, like the way that old PCGS was, 30 plus years ago that we care about the grading standards. We have a little bit more of a strict outlook on how we do things, and then we want to be consistent across the board. And then we look at things like toners that come from BU rolls and things like that, and we have to in a way be a little bit more strict in how we see those coins. And I think there was a lot of talk about how the current amount or the current state of details graded coins by CACG, and they are like all over eBay and all that. So some people have believed that those coins can be cherry picked, cracked out of the CACG slabs, and then sent to PCGS to straight grade. And they kind of see that as kind of like an open opportunity to, really take advantage of the market and how things are going with the CAC coins. So, yeah, there's been a lot of that. Yeah, kind of like how we like to cherry pick, old Gen 1 rattlers from PCGS, crack them open, send them off back to PCGS, and they come out a grade or two higher, thereby enhancing the value by a ton. Two of my hottest that aren't going to slow down. Toned Silver Eagles. Pretty crazy because a year ago, I would never even consider this because of how questionable it could be. And then CAC graded coins of any type are all, I'm going to say that this is going to continue its runaway train status. Again, and you're going to be paying a lot more than what a comparable PCGS or NGC coin is going to go for in that holder, because it's where it's at. And I think a lot of collectors, a lot of older numismatists, and a lot of coin dealers, they're kind of all in on CACG. And they understand that they are kind of like the more discerning taste, based off of how strict they could be. But maybe it's just necessary, to help audit some of the other companies and get them on par, with the grading standard. So it's kind of refreshing to see, and it's reflected on the overall values that we've seen. So those are my hot coins going to 2024. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this, and if you got some of these coins, congratulations. You might be better positioned into into the new year. I always say that these type of videos are not financial advice, but when we take a look at the data, and even we didn't really take a look at any data. I didn't put any official graphs. We didn't look at any eBay realized sales. I did talk about a few on great collections, but these are all things that folks that you guys can investigate for yourself and plainly see, the overall trends across the board. And then, there's a bunch of other coins that obviously we did not cover. Lincoln Cents are doing Lincoln Cents things. They will always be a very stable collectible in numismatics. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one. I wish you guys a very Merry Christmas. Enjoy the little bit of time off that we're going to have from the PCMR. This is all by choice because the market is really slow right now. And it's just, we're picking flies out of pudding right now. That's how weak the market is, during this 10-day stretch of the holidays. So that's it. I wish you guys great best of luck in all of your hunting endeavors with this hobby, and enjoy it. It's a lot of fun and all that great stuff. That's it. All right, I'll see you guys. Take care.